Okay, this is part 3 of the Explosion Box 4th of July version for my wedding album. And we went through all the envelopes and all the dimensions, and I think I already told you, but you want to go through and check all the edges and make sure you glue down all these paper ears down. These are the little flaps that come up. You want to glue those down. The regular envelopes, you've got the two ends. The Stampin' Up! Stampin' Up! Has the little paper ears on the bottom, and you may want to just glue where the opening is of the flap. Tack down that little ear there. I noticed when I was distressing or grunging up my envelopes that on the policy, check them, and you're going to glue down these little paper ears, and then also on each end, these are loose. You may want to go in and tack those down a little bit too, just to be on the safe side, because you don't want to have, when you're doing pictures or something, in case something gets caught in there and ripping it up. So you go in, and I don't like saying, if you're wanting a nice, clean, crisp look, leave your envelopes as is. I don't. I like to grunge them up a little bit. Okay, I went in and grunged up mine. So I just went in and just did all around the edges, whether I needed it or not, except for the flaps, because on the front of the flaps I did, but the back, because I'm going to cover this, I did not. And I noticed that when you're tacking down your paper ears, if you're going to grunge them up, depending on, because I was in a hurry, if you smear your glue, it will not take, that is, it didn't take the Ranger Distress inks. When I grunged it up, you'll see a nice clean spot here, and then the grunged part of it, and like a splash mark. That's where your glue when you wipe it off. So you want to be careful how you wipe the glue or how much you put on, because you won't be able to distress that. And I noticed that more on the yellow ones. Your policy envelopes will be all white, but I noticed on mine when I grunged it up, when I tacked down the ears, the paper ears and the edges, the glue spread out when I wiped it off, and it didn't take the distress. So be careful when you're tacking those down. So these are grunged up. You want to go through and just get it out of the way. It's a lot of work. I've had both rotator cuff repairs, and this was a job for me to sit here and tack these, or distress or grunge up the bottoms. I also grunged up the bases. The very bottom one that you're going to lay down first, I did both sides. You don't have to do the edges where you're going to be gluing the envelopes to. I just did around the center so it's not so bright. I just did the first one, both sides, just around the base, not the flaps. And then all the others, you just want the tops, because these are all going to glue down on top of each other. Like that. So now we're going to connect the envelopes together so we can work on our first base. And these are going to set like this. So basically how it's going to work. The yellows, yours would be white. Again, I will have Explosion Box envelopes for sale. Our income has dropped by 2/3. Actually, it was not an income. We don't get an income. We are on, both of us, well, I'm on Social Security, my husband's on Workman's Comp. And so our funds in the last 2 months have dropped drastically by 2/3. So I don't make a whole lot. I quit doing quilting for a while because it just costs way too much to get my tops done. Like I'd mentioned before, I have about 6 or 7 tops that need to be quilted down, and I've done it, but I can't do it because of my shoulders and my hands. Machine quilt on my Viking. So I have put my quilting aside, and I like doing things, so I got my paper crafts. I've been doing quilting for about 7 years, 8 years, and paper crafting for about 2.5 years now. And I really enjoy the paper craft. You get instant results. It's a lot of fun. I'm not really stressed out as much. But whatever funds I get, kits I sell right now on my Blogspot helps provide for my paper art hobby. So that's where I get the extra income from that. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be able to do this. So getting back, now we're going to tack down the 2 number 10s. We're going to tack these down and connect them to the base. Okay, so now I'm going to glue my number 10s together. The white one without the flap is the outside. The yellow, in your case white, whoever wins this kit or buys one, the envelope with the flap is going to be on the inside. Now what I want to do is, because this is, let me face it towards you, because the white side is going to be the outside of the box and the yellow or the policy on the inside. If it's facing towards me, I want my pocket tag or my mat to fit in through the right hand side and then connect it. So I'm just going to run a bead of glue down the side. And then I'm going to my policy on top of that. And you're going to do this to all 4. Just going to glue down one end, depending on which side you want to slide your photo mat or tag or journal piece in. That's the side, opposite side. So you tack that down. So this is the front of the box, this is the inside, and this side is glued down and this side is open. And the only reason why we have that open so now we're going to go back and attach all the number 10s to the base. And the reason I'm using glue is because when you use the score tape, the tags and the pictures or the journaling spots kind of stick to it, and I didn't want to use my ATG gun, so I just like the way the glue sticks better. So on the base, you're going to slip your 1/2 inch flap in between the 2 number 10 envelopes, and I'm going to use glue on both ends, but I'm going to do one end at a time. And you only want to line up your number 10 envelope right up to the score line, to the edge of the score line. You don't want on top of it or below it. So I'm just going to glue this down, and I'm only going to do one section at a time. I'm not going to waste the minutes on the YouTube going through all 4 of them. I'm going to stop it and then go to the next one, because it's repetitious and I don't want to waste a lot of time. So I'm going to put that down, and I'm just going to rub it, hold it down for a minute for it to take. I'm going to flip it over and then do the same thing on this side. And you know what I just did? I just did it upside down. Okay. It's fixable. And just fold the flaps up the other way. You want the policy envelopes to be on the inside. So easy fix. We'll just fold all these back up. Alright, so there is the first side, side number 1. We attached it to our base. So this is what it looks like. There's your base. There's your first envelope to slide a pocket through. And then I'm going to close this in on the top. Put a little bead of glue down. Here's our base. There's our one side. We have an open end here. This is going to be glued up. So then we're going to have a pocket here. This will be shut, so you only have the one pocket here. Then the top one. Have a pocket there. The inside. You'll have a pocket here. And then you'll have this little flap here, which also has a pocket. So just on the one side, you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pockets just on that one side. So let me go ahead and connect the other ones, and then I will be back.